So this year, I think, is a particularly bad year for, and it's always this way. It's a particularly bad year for the job market. I hear this every single year for the academic job market, where there's fewer and fewer jobs, and it's more and more difficult to actually get a job within the academic arena as a tenure track professor. And you name it, there's more people vying for it. And, ultimately there's lots of trends that are sort of suggesting or leading to this. But I think the biggest thing is that, here is my hot take. And it's something that I think a lot of people don't really appreciate as much, but I think we need to get off our high horse ultimately. I think we as academic folks, I am very practical. Um, and I think what we end up doing is believing that there's only one way, right? We tend to do this, and we think that the one way is that we have to get an academic job. And I'm saying not to not try for it. I think that that is wonderful, right? I think the whole underlying structure behind it is a wonderful endeavor. But at the same time, you have to be practical and sort of realize what's going on and that there is a lot of choice, a lot of opportunity in this world. And the one way of doing things is not the only way of doing things. You could be unique. You can do a lot of different things. That's why I actually am on YouTube so much, is that it is a way of unique expression. I know it doesn't sort of, and you should, pay attention to this, right? Like, none of this counts. None of what I am doing counts. I understand. I am more than painfully aware of this. I've spent uh, I far too much money of my own money, um, building a platform that people don't appreciate, far too much time. I'm talking like substantial investments in these things, um, both in time, money, resources, reputation, all of those things. And it's because that I just don't give a lick anymore. I don't care if somebody talks about, you know, publications, and this is the only way. I think that that is just foolish, to be honest, to focus on only those particular things. I understand, appreciate and appreciate the value of doing good work. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that there is a lot of opportunity, and if you're listening to this, you're a cool person already. If you're already interested in kind of nerdy topics, the things that I talk about, I'm really nerdy, and nobody else cares about it. So I understand and appreciate absolutely the fact that you're here, but I also appreciate that the world is unique. It's changing. We have 8.5, probably 8.8 billion people on this earth to serve their needs for. And one particular way of doing it, of serving needs, of, whether it's teaching to often, very privileged people. And I'm not, my students listen to this. I'm not picking on you, but you have to realize that you're very privileged. You're what is called a weird demographic, white, often, what is it? Western, something. So basically, it just stands for people that live in the Western Hemisphere. And it's an acronym, the weird acronym, people know it. Um, and it just basically means we're a really unusual, weird um, population that really is not representative of the entire world. And what I would really like, and I'm stumbling here because I understand the sort of implications of this. Um, what I really want you to understand is that there's a lot of opportunity. And if you simply just view as this, and I encourage you to try, I encourage you to pursue the one thing of becoming, a tenure track professor and all that kind of stuff. I understand. But at the same time, I, from the candidate side, be practical, right? Like, screw it, right? Like, ultimately, this is your life that you're talking about, and you have to be very practical with your life. Um, and then B, that start. being a lot more it's a lot more of an entrepreneur, a lot more of an innovator. Look at the world as a vast array of opportunities, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Like you're a creative, interesting person. Why not pursue the world in a creative, interesting way? Be playful, right? Ultimately, that's what I often, that's the key thing, right? Like, don't get stuck in this one little way of doing things and get negative when things don't work out in that way. Think of the world as just a world of opportunities, and this world of opportunity can be served if you're playful, which means often going, doing things that you think that are below you, right? That may be um, working in a factory. And I've talked about this story many times before where I was going to do that. And this was my choice at when I was finishing up my PhD. I couldn't get a job. And so I was going to work in a factory. And I was, yes, it would have hurt. But I was also ready to do that. I think like if you take this step back and you realize that you could be creative, you're interesting, you just got to stop believing that there's one way. I think that your world would be changed. I think that if you just simply have a light step in your foot, realize you don't need a lot, right? Like that's the key thing. You don't need a lot, and just be playful, look at the world, have fun. And, all of these kind of weird social structures that we set ourselves up for and think that there's only one way, like, come on, get real, realize that there is a ton of opportunity and you're incredible people. And if people don't respond to that in a positive way, when you go pursue incredible opportunities, that's on them. That's not on you, right? Like you should be able to just pursue things just for the hell of it and have fun and enjoy life. And yes, it's work. Yes, I know that there's practicality. I'm not saying don't be practical. It's actually the opposite of what I'm saying. Be practical, earn some money, get out there, but at the same time, be playful, right? Like realize that there's a lot of opportunity that exists. That if you just detach from that sort of narrow focus that you have right now and just realize that there's a ton of opportunity and playfulness. If you just have fun. Realize that there is just so much that you can do because you are a talented individual. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.